Trying to find a trade idea that has an appropriate take profit level, an appropriate stop loss level, and an appropriate trade size. And I'm going to ask you a couple options, and I'm going to describe what effect this has on each one of these suggestions. So first thing is I put the direction of the trade first. We're going to find an appropriate take profit and stop loss level. So what you input in this function is going to affect where your take profit and stop loss levels are.
Yeah,
Before we were discussing that there was a bit of confusion where you thought the trade size would affect the take profit and stop loss levels,
correct.
but in this is the only field that will affect where the take profit and stop loss levels go. We're trying to find take profit and stop loss levels that are within statistical reason.
Okay.
So if you put your stop loss level at a place that's too far away, that has a 0% chance of ever touching at all,
Yeah.
then it's the equivalent of having no stop loss at all.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm just jumping ahead and showing you one graph, which will really visualize what we're looking at here. So here we have the probability payout chart, where these bars on the back all represent different chances or odds of these outcomes happening. So in red, this level has a 1 in 10 chance of occurring. And it's just like a horse race, 1 in 10 odds or betting odds. So this has a 10% chance of occurring, assuming that the market is as volatile as it has been over the past 2 weeks. So what we're doing when we're selecting our take profit and stop loss levels is we're inputting what probability, what odds do we want to have so that our take profit level will be within whatever probability you expect. So, for example, one question I often hear is, why don't you just tell me where spot will be or where the price will be with 100% probability?
Yeah, that's what
just tell me where it is.
Yeah.
And
you don't know where it is.
The answer is the only place where we can see where spot will be with 100% probability is where it's at right now.
Yeah.
And that's why we also will overlay this payout chart, which will show you that if you want to take 100% bets, you'll be correct 100% of the time, but your payout will be 0. Because you buy spot, it's at 100%, you sell spot.
Yeah, that's when I punched that in. That's a good one, because I punched it in. I put 100% because I said I want to go 100% chance.
Yes.
And when it did that, it showed me 0. So then I tried to put 99.9% chance. It actually did a little profit, 44, like it was something like 44, very little.
It's so minuscule at 99.7%. What we need to remember about trading, Gary, is that you're not going to receive returns unless you take a substantial bet. There's no way around that. Get a good feel. But with VolatilityFX, what I also recommend is we have these 3 preset risk tolerances. If you want to take a risk-loving trade where you're really confident in it, you can select the risk-loving button, and it will find you a stop-loss level that has a 50% chance of touching and a take-profit with a 25% chance of touching. Those levels are fairly arbitrary. It's just something that I programmed in from my years of trading. But what this will do is it will mean that your take-profit level has almost a 1/2 probability of stopping out. So you'll stop out 2 times for every time you take profit. But when you take profit, you're going to make almost double of what you would make stopping out. So it's just different risk profiles that you can manipulate and experiment with. Things could happen. And so here, in this particular case, you have a 50% chance of taking profit. So flip of a coin. You can have a 50% chance of stopping out, flip of a coin. The probability that neither one of these levels touch and that spot just bumps around in between is 25%. And then finally, the chance that you hit the take profit level but don't hit the stop loss level first is roughly 25%. Questions on that, Gary?
Yeah, now I understand how it works.